the mainstream media continues to lie about this particular case because they sense that if they give it up on Abrego Garcia, it all comes undone. And here's, the story is very important, right? This guy comes to the U.S. He hasn't been in the U.S. that long. It's 2011-ish. He enters the U.S. without documentation. He's 16, and he claims to be fleeing threats from a rival gang called Barrio 18. Now, it's now defunct. It's no longer in existence, probably because the new president of El Salvador, Bukele, has rounded them all up and put them in a supermax prison. So he settles. Abrego Garcia settles in Maryland. His brother is now a U.S. citizen, resides there. And, about 8 years later, Hyattsville police find him, Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man, the nice guy, found him socializing with confirmed MS-13 gangbangers. All four of them, by the way, here are the people that he was with. The police recognized a guy named Christian Romero Hernandez. He's a known MS-13 member. They'd encountered him before. Another guy, Jose Guillermo Dominguez, had tattoos with skulls covering their ears, eyes, and mouth. This is apparently indicative of Hispanic gang culture, and tattoo of a devil on his left leg. Only high-ranking MS-13 officials are allowed to get it with horns. And the report is indicate if it had horns or not. And then, of course, Mr. Garcia. He had a gang clothing, a hoodie that depicted rolls of cash covering U.S. president's eyes, ears, and mouth. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Indicative, again, of gang culture and a confidential informant. And this is part of the documentation released yesterday by Pam Bondi, who had been reliable in the past, said that this Abrego Garcia was an active MS-13 member. And the rank was Chequio, and his street name Chele. The final man arrested that day, Jason Juice Ramirez Herrera. Officers were unable to determine his gang affiliation, but he's most interesting because, I like the fact that they didn't find that he had this gang affiliation because they weren't looking to rationalize it. They said that, for example, Abrego Garcia had it and Ramirez Herrera didn't. You see what I'm saying? So this is just kind of the background. Now, in 2019, two immigration judges, not one, during separate bond hearings, both denied Abrego Garcia's request for bond. They found that the government's evidence alleging his membership in the MS-13 gang was credible for the purpose of denying bond. And the judges determined that the government's evidence, though not conclusive proof of his gang membership, met the threshold required for denying bond due to the perceived public safety risks. Now, in immigration bond hearings, the government bears the burden of proof, okay? It's a lower burden of proof, but it's still there. And I want to insert something here that's very important, just as an attorney. When you are looking whether to give somebody protected status as an illegal immigrant, there is a very, very low, even lower than in a bond hearing, standard for proof for showing things that are undesirable. It's very important that we do not allow people who are bad people to remain in the country, particularly if they've already come through the gate into the, through the back door, let's say, and have broken laws doing so. The way these immigration courts work is really even a whiff of bad news is enough for an immigration judge to deny you residency, or conversely, to have your green card revoked, which is what is now going on, by the way, in a couple other proceedings that the Trump administration is moving forward with, right? You've got the guy who has, supporting an organization, leading an organization on the campus of Columbia University that is affiliated with Hamas. Not good. But back to Abrego Garcia. So in 2019, an immigration judge issues a deportation order, okay? Now what's, 2019, this is in Trump 1.0 in his first term. Abrego Garcia made an asylum claim. He had not made that claim before. The judge denied his asylum request, but granted him a withholding of removal order to El Salvador due to a well-founded fear. Now, this allowed him to legally live and work in the U.S. with a work permit. but it did not give him, this is really important, any permanent residency. Now, in 2021, this is when the restraining order comes through, right? His wife alleges that he punched and scratched her eye, caused bleeding, that he ripped her shirt off. I mean, the report is actually the application that his wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, who now is reaping money from a GoFundMe account claiming tremendous marital and family bliss, I think, is difficult to read. So this is now flash forward to 2022, and it starts to get very interesting because it turns out that this very same guy, Abrego Garcia, was detained by the Tennessee Highway Patrol in December of 22 during Biden's term, and they suspected him of human trafficking. He was transporting 7 passengers from Texas to Maryland in a vehicle without a valid driver's license. One source told 2 different newspapers that the Tennessee Highway Patrol ultimately discovered that Abrego Garcia was on a terror watch list, but couldn't locate him on a deportation list. So this guy had been already by some agency placed on this list. And then when the Tennessee people went to the FBI, all right, it got even weirder. They go to the FBI. The FBI right now, of course, is busy arresting every mom, pop, person that was at January 6th. So their hands were tied to actually act on legitimate tips of people on terror watch lists. And I guess the FBI instructed the Tennessee Highway Patrol people to photograph all 8 individuals and release them within 2 hours. If you didn't hate Biden's FBI enough, then I don't know what to tell you. So the Tennessee folks over there, the troopers, had to comply with it, and that was the end of the investigation. There are a lot of unanswered inquiries, but one thing that I draw almost definitively from this is that it's good that Trump finally got rid of this guy. He doesn't belong in the U.S., and all of this has come out in the last 24 hours, coinciding with Chris Van Hollen's ridiculous mercy mission to El Salvador, pleading for the release of the Maryland man, the nice father of 2 and husband, loving, doting husband. This is all of it so gross, and it's going to backfire. If it isn't already, you're watching it in real time backfire on the Democrats.